In this video, I'm going to be ranking the top 10 best value cards right now in NBA 2K23 Myteam. What I do mean by best value is cards that have really good value for how much they go for in the auction house and how good of a card they actually are. So for example, of a really good value card, in my opinion, in this top 10 is going to be Scottie Barnes, because you can make a real argument he's a top 5 point guard in the game and he only goes for about 70 to 80,000 MT, and he's not going to be that much worse than a card like a Jimmy Butler, who most people think is the best point guard in the game, because he's going to give you basically what Jimmy Butler gives you on the defensive end, his ability to drive to the basket, except that Jimmy's got more badges and maybe a little bit better animations. But all around, Scottie Barnes is going to be a really good value card. An example of a bad value card, in my personal opinion, is going to be the new Dark Matter Shaq. And I know a lot of people that are Shaq fans or love using this card are already going to be like, no, he's a really good card or whatever, but the fact that you got to spend 700,000 MT, 600,000 MT to get this card, and he's not even a top 5 power forward in the game, and maybe not a top 5 center. He probably is a top 5 center, but he's not a top 5 power forward, and you got to spend 700,000 MT. I just don't feel like that's really good value unless you want to use Shaq. Like, if you're a big Shaq fan or if you really like this card, then go ahead and use him. I'm not saying he's a bad card. I'm just saying for his price tag and his value, I don't think he's going to be that great of a value card. But like I said, we talked about Scottie Barnes. He's going to be the first on this list, not ranked in order from like best to worst or worst to best, just going to be the top 10 cards that I do think have really good value in the game. Next card here is going to be Pink Diamond Luke Walton, also from the out of position set, and he's going to be even cheaper than Scottie Barnes, and you can make a legit argument he's a better point guard than Scottie in the game. He's 6'8" with a 6'8" wingspan, and he only goes for about 25 to 30,000 MT. He's going to be a very good defender, 92 steal, 94 lateral quickness, 92 perimeter, and 92 interior defense, so he can play great defense, and he's also going to be really good at handling the ball with a 92 ball handle, 94 speed with ball, and then he also does have Hall of Fame clamp breaker, quick first step, handles for days, and unpluckable as well. Badges, he's also got Hall of Fame bully, limitless range, which is really nice, anchor, clamps, glove, which is nice for the defensive end, and then jump shot wise, I do feel like he's got a solid release and some very good dribble sigs for your point guard who is 6'8". So for only 25,000 MT, I think Luke Walton is going to be one of the better value cards in the game. Next card is going to be Dino Raja, who only goes for about like 35 to 40,000 MT right now. His price does vary. Sometimes he'll like rise up in price and go up to like 55,000 MT, and then sometimes if we get some really good power forwards or we get a really good content drop on a Friday, sometimes he'll go as low as like 25 to 30,000 MT. But right now, I would say he's around 40 to 50,000 MT on the auction house, and he's a very good power forward and a very good center as well. And the reason why I think he's a top 10 in the best value cards is because the fact that there's no good budget centers in the game. Like we talk about Pink Diamond D-Rob, he's about 50, 60,000 MT. After that, there's like Wiseman, who I don't think is even close to Dino. There's cards like Eddie Curry, don't really think are close to Dino, and then there's Evan Mobley, who we'll talk about here in a second. But there's not too many great budget centers in the game, so that's why I feel like Dino is super valuable on the court for only about 40,000 MT. The fact that he can play that center position, yes, he's going to get mashed by a Yao Ming, he's going to get mashed by a Kristaps, these type of top tier centers, but you kind of have to give up something with Dino because he's so fast on the offensive end, and he's got such good dribble sigs that he can blow right around a Taco Fall, a Yao Ming, a Kristaps because of his dribble sigs and his speed as well. Like his speed with ball is an 86 ball handle. Like he can definitely get past people on the offensive end. So I feel like Dino value wise, only about 40,000 MT is going to be a top 10 value card at the number not the number 4 spot, but the next card here in the top 10 is going to be Pink Diamond Jabari Parker. Now talking about some budget cards, because I want to have different price ranges, so I'll have cards that are like budget, like Jabari Parker, 10,000 MT and lower, and then I'll kind of have that mid-tier price about like 25 to like 50, 60,000 MT, and then maybe some more expensive cards, 100,000, maybe 150,000 plus, and then maybe some cards that are like 300,000 MT or more. So talking about some budget cards that I do think have extremely good value is going to be Pink Diamond Jabari Parker, a very good small forward who's 6'8" with a 6'11" wingspan. He's going to give you really good defense in game. Like he's got some amazing defensive stats, 90 block, 90 lateral quickness, 90 perimeter, and a 90 interior defense. He's also good at going to the basket with a 95 driving dunk, 90 standing dunk, while also having a 95 vertical and 88 strength as well. So going to the basket and his ability to play defense is going to be really nice. And then jump shot wise, I think he's got a very decent jump shot, but the main thing about this card is his dribble sigs are really good. He's got the Kemba Walker size up, which I personally think is really good. And then he's also got the Trae Young escape, most likely the best escape in the game for guards and just people that you want to move with. And then he's also got really good dunk packages with the quick drops off one and the front clutches. Like, those are probably the two best dunk packages in the game, and he does have both of them. So all around, I think Jabari Parker, if we're talking about budget cards, is going to be extremely good value. And then another really good budget card is going to be Pink Diamond Darius Miles. I think he's just going to be another type of Jabari Parker. He might not have the defensive stats, it might not have the defensive badges, but I do think his jump shot is a little bit better than a card like Jabari Parker's. He's got the Cedi Osman base, which I think is really good, and then he also does have the Carmelo Anthony upper, so a really good jump shot for Darius Miles. He's also got some good dunk packages. He doesn't have the quick drops off one, and he doesn't have the front clutches, but his dunk animations are still going to be really good. I just wish he had some better dribble sigs. Like, if he had a better size up and maybe a little bit better escape, I think he could be better than Jabari Parker. But I think both of these guys are going to be extremely good value, being under 10,000 MT and really elite budget small forwards in the game. Now, talking about a card that is also going to be super cheap and a really good point guard is the Galaxy Gary Payton. He plays such good defense in game. I understand he's only 6'4" a point guard, and he is going to be a little bit undersized, but I do think his defensive stats and badges really make up for it, and maybe his tendencies, because he just plays so good defense in game. He's literally got 100 on-ball steal tendency. He gets so many good pluck animations, and he's also got a 95 driving dunk, so he can really dunk the basketball a lot more than you'd expect having the quick drops off one. But yeah, my favorite thing about this card is probably going to be his defense, but underrated on the offensive end, I will say, is this Gary Payton card, because he's got the Trae Young escape. Even the Paul George size up is not terrible. It's not a great size up, but it's not like terrible. And then I do think his jump shot is very decent as well. And he's got the Trae Young leaner. And if you can really master that, it is a great way to score the ball on next gen and current gen as well. So Gary Payton, I do think, is a top 10 best value card in the game. Next card here is going to be Evan Mobley. Now, I will say, he's not my favorite card in the game. I really think he could have been a lot better. Like, this card could have been so much better at the power forward or center position, but kind of like Dino, he's really good value for about 55,000 MT, maybe 50k at this point, just because of the fact that there's no good budget centers in the game. There's no good budget power forwards. Like, people are paying 50,000 MT for Pink Diamond D-Rob, and I think this Mobley card is a better card than Pink Diamond D-Rob. Now, him and Dino is a closer debate, I would say. I would still probably take Dino at the power forward position. I do think Dino's a better power forward than Evan Mobley, but at the center spot, Mobley's 7 foot with a 7'4" wingspan and some amazing defensive stats: 97 block, 90 steal, 92 perimeter, 96 interior defense, with some tons and tons of good Hall of Fame defensive badges. So I think at the center position, I would probably take Evan Mobley. At power forward, I would definitely take Dino. The problem with Mobley is this jump shot, even though it's on quick timing, is still a super slow jump shot. I was really wishing they were going to give him a new base and maybe a new upper, depending on what upper he needed and what base he needed. I wish he got a new jump shot, but I still think all around, if we're talking about value wise, I still think he's one of the best value cards in the game, because there's not too many great budget power forwards and not too many great budget centers in the game. So that's why I think Mobley is super valuable. Now, to talk about some more expensive cards, first guy is going to be Taco Fall. Now, he is more expensive right now. He's gone up in price. Before the content drop on Friday, like on Thursday and Wednesday, he was about 300,000 MT, maybe even a little bit less on Xbox for his base version. Now he's about 350 to 400,000 MT, maybe even a little bit more at sometimes, if it's like a really good time to sell, or if there's like a big gap between the Taco Falls, he might go for like upwards of 450k, and that is really expensive for a card. But you guys have to realize, if he's about 350k on average, that's like half of what Yao Ming goes for. That's almost like a quadruple, or sorry, that's almost a third of what T-Mac goes for. And I'm not saying he's better than Yao Ming or he's better than T-Mac, because I don't think he's better than those cards. But for a card that's only about 350,000 MT, his ability to compete with the Yao Mings, his ability to compete with the Kareems, the Kristaps, the D-Robs, is what you need at that power forward position. Because then in game, if you match up against a Yao Ming and you have Taco at power forward, you can just switch Taco onto the center in game, which is Yao Ming, and then you can just switch your power forward, who's maybe a little bit smaller, like a Dino, a Mobley, those type of cards. You can switch them onto their power forward, who's maybe a little bit smaller, like a Mobley, or sorry, like a D-Rob or a Dino, or those type of power forwards, a Jokic that you might be running into, a Galaxy Yi, and then you can kind of switch the matchups in games. So that's why Taco Fall is super valuable, because you kind of need this card on your squad. Like, I think he's probably one of the most must-have cards in the game right now, just because of the fact that he's 7'6" and his ability to bang with the Yao Mings, be able to compete and just crash the glass against those amazing tall cards. cards. And honestly, guys, right now in the game, as sad it is to say, if you want to play this game not competitively, but just have the best chance of winning in unlimited, it really comes down to height and having a tall squad, because right now that's the meta of the game, is having these tall players. We're kind of getting to that stage of my team right now, even though I find it less fun personally to have all these giants on the court. To have Taco Fall at power forward is just one of the most glitchy things in the game. Do I think he should be at power forward right now in the game? No. I think he should be a center. There's no reason why we can run Taco Fall at power forward and Yao Ming at center when we're only halfway through March, like when they came out, because Taco did come out on the 17th. So me personally don't like the idea of Taco Fall and Yao Ming being able to run this early on in my team together, but kind of getting off track here of the video. But yeah, I do think Taco Fall is a really good value card. And then another really expensive card that I do think is amazing for his price though is going to be this Jonathan Bender card. I do believe he's the best small forward in the game, and I've heard a lot of people say, and they've been getting him for like 200,000 MT or lower. I think if you can get this card for 250k or lower, that is a really good price tag for the best small forward in the game. A guy who's 7 foot with a 7'4" wingspan. He can play really good defense because of his player model's height, his wingspan, and just his animations are really good in game. And then they also gave him a very good jump shot and some good dribble sigs as well, with the Steph Curry size up escape and the Trae Young size up, which means his movement's going to be really good. He's got front clutches. I mean, this card is just an absolute demigod for about 200,000 MT. And then the guys, the final card in my top 10 best value cards is going to be this Jonathan Isaac, and the reason is you need him on your core. You need a guy that can play really good defense and be your lockdown. We don't really have any lockdowns on this list so far, so I wanted to include Jonathan Isaac, who goes for about 85 to 90,000 MT, because if you match the Jonathan Benders of the world, a guy who's 6'7" at small forward, you need Jonathan Isaac on the court, a guy who's 6'11" and one of the best defenders in the game. And I do think he can guard a guy like T-Mac. He can guard the Kobe Bryants, the really good offensive cards of the world, the Danny Ferries, the Purvis, those type of cards that are at the small forward position. Jonathan Isaac will be your best bet to lock up your opponent's best score. And I think for about 100,000 MT or less, he is going to be the best lockdown in the game. But hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Let me know in the comment section down below some other really good value cards that maybe I didn't include in my top 10. But hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.